What if the biggest silver story right now is not the one everyone is arguing about? What if the so-called US-China silver war you keep hearing about is not the real battle at all, but a carefully chosen distraction? Because while investors are busy watching headlines about China, tariffs, and trade tensions, something far more dangerous is quietly unfolding somewhere else. And almost nobody is talking about it. If you stay with me for the next few minutes, you may never look at silver the same way again. Before we go any further, if you want clear, no-nonsense breakdowns of what's really happening behind the silver market, make sure you like this video and subscribe to Silver Uncovered. It helps the channel grow, and it tells the algorithm that you want the truth, not the noise. Now let's get into it. Right now, social media, YouTube, and financial news are filled with one dominant idea. The idea that silver is being pulled into a massive geopolitical fight between the United States and China. You see titles about Chinese whales, Shanghai premiums, US stockpiles, and a looming silver war between two superpowers. And on the surface, it sounds dramatic. But here's the uncomfortable question no one wants to ask. If this really was the core issue, why does the price action not match the fear? Why does silver still behave like it's sleepy, controlled, and strangely calm? History tells us something important. When markets want you to focus on one story, it's often because the real pressure is building somewhere else. The loudest narrative is rarely the most dangerous one. And the US-China silver war narrative is extremely loud right now, almost too loud. Industrial demand, solar panels, electronics, and manufacturing are all real factors. But those flows are visible. What markets fear most is not what they can see, but what they cannot control. And this is where the real silver shortage begins to reveal itself. The true stress point in the silver market is not geopolitical. It is structural. It is physical. And it is happening in places most investors never look at. Not on Twitter, not even in the daily silver news videos. This is one of the most misunderstood facts in the entire market. The majority of silver comes as a byproduct of mining for other metals like copper, lead, zinc, and gold. That means silver supply does not respond quickly to silver prices. Even if silver doubles, miners do not suddenly double silver output. They can't. Silver is along for the ride. Now add something critical on top of that. Global base metal production has been under pressure. Environmental rules, declining ore grades, political instability, and capital discipline have all reduced new mine development. Fewer new mines means less byproduct silver. And this is not something that shows up overnight. It builds slowly, quietly, invisibly. While everyone argues about China buying silver, the real problem is that the pipeline feeding silver into the system is thinning. And once that pipeline dries up enough, no amount of paper contracts can replace it. This brings us to the part of the market almost no retail investor truly understands. The difference between paper silver and physical silver. Futures contracts, ETFs, unallocated accounts, and derivatives all trade silver exposure, not silver itself. They work perfectly fine until too many people ask for delivery at the same time. That's when the system stops being theoretical and becomes brutally real. The real shortage is not in headlines, it's in vaults, it's in refiners. It's in industrial supply chains that require specific forms of silver, not just any bar with a stamp on it. Solar manufacturers don't want promises. They want metal. Electronics producers don't accept excuses. They need silver now, not later. And this is where the distraction becomes obvious. If investors believe the silver story is about politics, they wait, they hesitate. They think the situation will resolve itself through negotiations, trade deals, or policy shifts. That delays action. That delays demand. That buys time for the system. But if investors understood that the real issue is a physical supply imbalance that cannot be fixed quickly, behavior would change instantly. Think about this. Gold gets attention because it is money. Silver is ignored because it is treated like an industrial commodity. But silver sits at the intersection of both worlds. It is monetary history and modern technology combined. And that makes it uniquely vulnerable to shortages. When gold runs, central banks talk. When silver runs, factories panic. Look back at past silver spikes. They were not driven by headlines. They were driven by availability. When silver disappears from the market, price moves violently, not gradually. And the early stages always look boring, suppressed, controlled, almost manipulated. This is why the US-China silver war narrative is so convenient. It gives everyone something to argue about while the real tension builds underneath. Another piece most people miss is inventory quality. Not all silver is equal. Much of what is counted as available is tied up, leased, pledged, or already spoken for. On paper, inventories look fine. In reality, usable, deliverable silver is far tighter than numbers suggest. Refiners are a bottleneck, transport is a bottleneck, fabrication capacity is a bottleneck. You can't just snap your fingers and turn theoretical silver into industrial-grade material overnight. That friction is where shortages are born. And here's the most important part. Once industrial users sense risk, they don't wait. They overorder. They hoard. They secure supply at any price. That behavior alone can break the system faster than any geopolitical conflict ever could. The silver market is small, tiny compared to equities, bonds, or even gold. It doesn't take much new demand to overwhelm it, and when it breaks, it doesn't give polite warnings. At Silver Uncovered, the goal has always been to look past the obvious stories and focus on the pressure points no one wants to talk about. This is one of those moments. The calm you see in silver right now is not comfort. It's compression. The biggest moves in markets don't come from what everyone expects. They come from what everyone ignores. The real silver shortage is not in China versus the US. It's in declining supply, fragile logistics, industrial dependency, and a paper market built on confidence. Confidence that only works as long as no one tests it too hard. When that confidence cracks, the move will not be slow, it will not be polite, and it will not wait for headlines to catch up. So here's what I want to know from you. Do you think the silver market is being distracted on purpose? Or do you believe the real shortage is already starting beneath the surface? Let me know in the comments, because the smartest discussions always happen there. If this video helped you see the silver market differently, share it with someone who still thinks silver is boring or irrelevant. And make sure you're subscribed to Silver Uncovered, because the next phase of the story is not going to be covered honestly anywhere else. Stay alert, stay curious, and I'll see you in the next one.